going on, people? It's the Xbot 448, and today, before I get this video started, I just do want to apologize if you hear any difference in my voice or anything like that. I feel like I started getting a cold this morning, and you know, it's kind of kept getting a little bit worse throughout the day. But you know, I want to kind of battle through it and talk about this topic with you guys. So I hope you bear with me. I hope there isn't too much of a change. But let's get on to the topic at hand. And today I want to talk about dynamic resolution. And you might ask yourself, well, why do you want to talk about that? Because another game that's coming out this year will be using dynamic resolution, and that is Titanfall 2. So I believe Titanfall 2, Battlefield 1, Gears 4, there just seems to be a list that's like getting bigger by the minute, you know, on games that will be using dynamic resolution. And it makes sense. All right, it makes sense that, you know, when you have systems coming out basically mid-life cycle in a console generation that has more power to it, it makes sense to use this feature. Now, for people who don't know what dynamic resolution is, basically what it is, it's a procedure that lets the game, like on the fly, drop resolution to maintain frame rates. Because, you know, frame rates are very important with games, especially like competitive shooters and stuff like that, racing games and such. You want to maintain a 60 frames per second, you know, a frame rate. And what this does, it allows the resolution to drop so you can maintain that frame rate. And Titanfall 2 will be using this as well. Now, the funny thing about this is, when I first heard about dynamic resolution, it was with Halo 5. Now, games might have used it before time, but I heard it a lot when it came to Halo 5. And, you know, there's basically, it came from that Sony Defense Force stating how, well, look how weak your console is. It can't do 1080p at 60 frames per second. It's got to drop resolution and stuff like that. But the more and more that you see developers using dynamic resolution, especially with multiplats, you know, that are going on to Sony's platform as well, I guess in the Pony's standpoint, it's now acceptable, which is absolutely amazing to me. They basically ignored the fact that Halo 5, if it's not the best, it's one of the best multiplayers this generation. And it's just funny how now it's acceptable. And, you know, you have the PlayStation 4 Pro coming out and the Scorpio. So you're going to have a lot of developers using dynamic resolution more. And the reason being is, when you have more powerful systems, dynamic resolution doesn't necessarily have to scale down. It can actually go the opposite way. It can scale up. So if you have a more powerful console and you put this game in it, you know, instead of that 1080p that you've been seeing regularly, all of a sudden you'll see more of a like 4K type resolution. So it makes sense that the developers are going to use this from now on, seeing that, you know, within that mid-life cycle of a console generation, these companies decided to come out with more powerful hardware. Now, the thing is, with Titanfall 2 and what the executive producer was saying about Titanfall 2, there's a couple things here. First of all, I don't think he's too confident on maintaining 60 frames per second, because he says, you know, this dynamic resolution will hit that 60 frames per second mark more reliably, will help the system do it more reliably. And you know, these guys that talk to the media, they pick their words very carefully. He didn't say absolutely and, you know, without a doubt or constantly. He was like more reliably, which leaves room for doubt. Not only that, he says with the PlayStation 4 Pro version, the resolution will drop less often. And I want to know if this is acceptable for these pro Sony people, you know, that Sony Defense Force and stuff like that, because of the fact that they were like bashing Halo 5 in the beginning as well. And you know what? Let's talk about Halo 5 for a second. When it comes to dynamic resolution, do you think 343 didn't know about a more powerful console coming on down the line? If you look at the replay value of Halo 5, it is absolutely incredible. People are going to be playing that game for a very, very long time. All right, you have 343 keeps on adding content to the game, keeps on tweaking it, stuff like that, and it has a user base. It has a huge number for a user base to this day, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. So, you know, with such high replay value for a game, of course they're going to set up for the future. You know, so when the Scorpio comes out, don't be surprised if you see Halo 5, you see with dynamic resolution, the resolution of that game go up. Alright? Not only that, when they talked about Titanfall 2, they were talking about a couple other PlayStation 4 Pro features, which were higher detailed shadows and higher detailed lighting. But what concerns me is they didn't say anything about textures. Alright, so is that what the Pro is going to be when it comes to games? Like, you'll have better lighting, which does make a difference. Trust me, lighting is a very big thing in games. But textures are like that foundation for graphics. And he didn't say anything about upgraded textures. But then again, Respawn is working on the patch for the PlayStation 4 Pro. They're working on it kind of feverishly because they stated that they didn't even know about the Pro until we did. So basically, in this article from Polygon, the executive producer of Titanfall 2 said they didn't even know about a PlayStation 4 Pro until it was announced to everybody else. So now they're working on a patch as well for you know, a Pro version of, or a Pro mode for Titanfall 2. And like I said, they didn't say anything about textures. You know, upgrading textures takes a long time. You can have certain shortcuts and stuff with upgrading lighting and even shadows, but textures, like I said, that is one of the foundations of graphics, and it's a little concerning to me that, like, they didn't mention that at all. I don't know, guys. This is my topic for today. You know, dynamic resolution. It seems to be the future. Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2, Gears 4, Halo 5, and the list is just going to keep growing. Do you see what I'm saying about this is the future? Because with the more powerful consoles, they'll have games running at a higher resolution than basically the consoles we have now. You know, definitely hit up that comment section. I want to know what you guys think about this. Of course, if you like the topics, you like the gameplay, you know, definitely hit that thumbs up button for me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, definitely subscribe. But as for now, this is the Xspot 448. And I am definitely signing off.